Well, welcome again to the AM show. Time for us to go into what the papers are reporting this morning. And I've been joined in the studio by, I always say, the brother Multimedia gave me from the north. Hi, Samuel Imbura.
Kojo.
Man, how are you doing, sir?
Fine, you?
I'm good.
Thank God for another Friday.
You see the action.
Tomorrow is a D-Day. We know we are not going to rest, but at least we have Sunday to rest.
How we been resting on Sunday? Anyway. Well, let's see how it goes. Yeah. But I have with me the Daily Guide newspaper. I also have the Chronicle newspaper. What do you have?
I have the Finder and the Meridian newspaper.
Okay. All right then. But even before we go into it, any news that caught your attention within the week?
I know it was yesterday's issue about the Highways Minister, Mr. Makwata, raising concerns about corrupt activities at his ministry when he went on a tour, seeing people parking in unauthorized areas. And I think that's just what drew my attention for the whole week, even though it happened yesterday. But I think that if the ministry is getting to the realization that some technocrats are involved in such activities, then this is a cause to worry. And beyond the rhetoric, beyond the complaints, we should be serious as a country. It is not only the politicians, but some technocrats are also part of the problem that we have in the country. That I think that it is an issue that we have to take a serious look into it, because we know how important our roads are. I mean, if you are not able to get a qualified person to work on the roads, you know that the roads will not last. It will suffer depression and then expose commuters to danger and all that. So you should have people who have the country at heart, at a very sensitive ministry that has to do with whatever that has to do with the road in the country and all that. So if the minister is raising concerns about these issues, I think it is in the right direction.
But is he now realizing that these are the things, or these are the things that happen in his ministry?
Yeah, so that's why I was saying that, is it the case that we are not aware of it, or we are just playing the ostrich? That's
because there are some of the roads that have been constructed, and when you look at them, you ask yourself, I mean, how? Yeah. Because there are some of the roads that there's only first coat, and then they apply their markings. And when they apply the markings on the road, it means they have completed, isn't it? Yeah. And you ask yourself, who is supervising this work? But that's what we see. And then, after a few months, the road begins to deteriorate.
That's a challenge.
And he's now saying that it's because some people take some back cut somewhere, and that's why this
allow them to do shoulder work. I think one of the other issues had to do with the traffic lights, street lights. You know, we have been very heavy on our Drive Safe campaign. On Sunday, I actually told around 7 to 8 p.m. I was at most of the intersections in Accra. And Kojo, I must say that the MTTD is doing so well. But those responsible, urban roads, transport ministry, whoever that is in charge of the traffic light, you have to up your game. People's lives are at risk. Go to Ablekuma, Awoshi, that particular junction, the intersection there, and they'll tell you that more than 40 people have lost their lives. Within a month or two, residents demonstrated, publicly vented their anger about it. And still, there's no improvement. It's not only that area. Go to the airport area, and some of the traffic lights are not also working. So it exposes commuters, road users to danger that I think that we have been drumming home about it, and we are expecting that the leaders who are responsible will move in swiftly to assuage the situation. It is not only the national capital. If you go to Kumasi, we have similar situations dotted across the country, especially street lights. So if you don't work on this, then the safety of the people is not guaranteed at night. And that is one of my high points in the course of the week, that I think that authorities must take keen interest. So is it all the time that the police will be on the road to direct it for us? It's actually something that we need to take serious consideration into. I know that the MTT is introducing the Traffic Tech GH technology that will ensure that offenders of the road are captured and their offenses sent to them and all. At least with some of these initiatives, it is good to go. National Safety Authority is doing its bits, and all the other stakeholders. But if you all don't come together to solve this problem, we'll continue to have it in Tema, Accra, and across the country, in which it wouldn't be a good situation for us. So far as the target is to reduce road crashes, deaths associated with it, within the goals of the MTTD, National Safety Authority, and other institutions in the country.
Okay. I only pray that the Roads and Highways Minister will follow up, his observation and visit some of the newly constructed roads across the country.
Exactly.
There's a road in Western Region. He should probably pay a visit to that.
Is it a bridge that has broken down?
The bridge has broken down for more than 3 months.
I see.
And nobody is doing anything about it.
That's interesting.
The resident of the area, Princess Town is an ecotourism area. Princess Aketechi has the most beautiful shore in West Africa.
I see.
So a lot of these tourists would love to go there. Yeah. The road, was constructed beautifully. But the rains collapsed the bridge and no one seemed to care.
3 months now?
Yes,
for
3 months. So now what they do is that when they move from Princess Town, Aketechi, and all of the other communities, when they get there, you are light. Okay. And then you walk to cross the bridge, and then you board another vehicle to continue to tackle the diagonal content, what have you. Wow. And
it's an oil city.
Yeah,
it's a city that produces oil.
I tell you,
some of these companies can even take it up. Should
it be the company?
No. Let me say some of the companies can, because they use heavy duty trucks.
No, but they don't use that road. Yeah, that road is not a place that they use.
Definitely.
Although the region. This is a coastal community, so of course, if you're talking about communities that should benefit from the oil, they are part.
Exactly. So that's the point that I'm driving at. So at least you need to have the corporate social responsibilities come in. Government also, after getting the oil from these areas, you need to develop the area. You don't let the people complain before.
Government leading
government has a role to play.
Yes, and I'm saying that if you want to get the oil companies to be part of it, mustn't it be the government leading the way?
Exactly my
to
point.
Get the oil companies to come in here.
Exactly.
Because till when do they want to bring respite to the residents in there? It's just mind-boggling how we look on for these things to happen, and we don't seem to care, such that we don't see this as an emergency. So you leave it for 3 months. How? People's livelihoods are cut off, and we don't bother, we don't care. Yeah. And this is a hunter was here in the Western Region. And they know. So what is keeping the roads minister? Again, he should go to a place called Diabene and Agric. The road was constructed, and within a year, it got bad. So bad.
I see.
Because the contractor only put on the first layer. And that's it.
On this note, I also talk about the Enumboso stretch of road.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there in the Eastern Region. Yes. I was there like a month ago. So I brought that story about how the people are suffering because the road network is very bad. Now, the road to Enumboso is very critical because it produces one of the markets that we get the farm produce. If you go to the areas like Germany in the South Dai area, Honorable Dafiamako's constituency, that area, this is a fishing community, it's a farming community, and if you are using the Enumboso stretch, it's really hectic. The road is so bad. The last time I went there with my salon car, you can imagine. I had to come and change shocks.
You have to look for 4x4.
I had to change shocks. So please, Roads Ministry, we beg you, on behalf of the people of Enumboso, work on their road for them, because the farm produce are getting rotten every day. The people are raising concerns about security. I saw the contractor on cyber. I was told that it packed away because of issues of payment and all that. So please, Roads Minister, you're a very hardworking man. And we know that beyond the talking, you also work as well. So please, pay attention to the issues that we have raised here in the Western Region.
In Accra.
And then your own back.
No, in Accra.
Eastern Region as well.
We have the Ofanko Veterinary Road. I went there. The road is no longer a road. And what is shocking is that elderly people cannot come out because of how bad the road is. And when they want to get to hospital, some of them have to be carried on the back of younger neighbors to be taken to, cars before they can go to the hospital. Because cars cannot enter their homes. It's shocking. And this is just Accra here, of Anko Veterinary. They said they've gone to the ministry, they've gone to highways, they've gone to... Nothing. So sometimes you ask yourself, how do we see our responsibility to the people we lead? Really?
That's true.
Because everybody pays taxes. Whether you pay direct or indirect, you pay taxes. And we expect to see certain changes in our communities. If my grandmother is stuck up in the room and cannot come out because of the bad nature of the road, Who do you think how would I feel?
If you're going to talk about road network, I would develop headache now because I remember when I was in the Upper East region, I used my platform on A1 Radio to advocate the construction of the Tumu-Bolga stretch of road. And that road has been a serious headache to the people on that stretch. So this is a national road that links to, regions. And these are very critical regions or areas that we need to pay attention to. Yeah. Now, if you are going to Wa, it's better you use Tamale, from Bolga to Tamale, connect to the Swala Tuna Kalba stretch of road, and you get to Wa, then that will be safer for you. But if you're going to use the Tumu stretch, from Bolga to Tumu to Wa, the security implication, some of the bridges are in dire states, and then moving there. I remember I was going with some friends in 2020. We were about 4 of us in that car. However, the way we felt afraid, no one was using the stretch of the road because it has been abandoned. People would want to use it. However, the road has not been constructed. And it's something that we need to continue to put pressure on them to work on it. I know one company was working on it along the line, but it stalled. It's just a general appeal that we shouldn't wait till the election, you carry the equipment, then it will be another issue.
At least we should applaud them for some of the roads that they are doing. Yeah. We're not saying all is gloomy. Yeah. From the Labadi Road, they call it Beach Road, all the way to Lashibi to Tama area. Solid work that a contractor is doing there. Anytime I pass,
I also saw some pictures of Botiman, some asphalting. I saw them on.
Anytime I pass there, I'm like, this contractor is doing so well. The Spintex area, within Spintex community, they are doing some solid roads there, So something is happening, but we are saying that the roads that are bad are just too many.
Work on them.
Just too many. From Takrady to Agunan Kwanta, such an important road. Imbra, every day you can count more than 250 trucks carting manganese on this stretch.
Exactly.
Yet it is the worst, road in the western region. Why should it be so?
That's the problem at hand now. The Boku Road is still under construction. Remember that famous Boku, Bolga Boku Plomanko stretch of road. I know government has, since they came into office, they have done some significant work there. They are unable to proceed to the Plomanko stretch because we know of the security implications. So maybe we may not be able to fault them on that score, but at least there is some massive improvement on that stretch of road, the construction of the bridges and all that. At least we expect that this international trunk road that leads to Burkina Faso and Togo and all those areas.
And Côte d'Ivoire. The Takrady Agunan Kwanta one leads to Côte d'Ivoire. Yeah. And that's why you expect them to construct it.
Exactly.
I traveled to Takwa last month and I saw they haven't finished construction anyway, but you have to give it to them that there's been a huge improvement. Yeah. My last experience, my last but one and my last one, comparing the two, there's been a huge improvement between them. Yeah. I saw that they were laying asphalt and they started from Apimenyim. Okay. And when I went the last month, it was at Chechire. I am thinking that by now they might be in Soyib. Okay. So as for the Agunan Kwanta Takwa Road, you give it to them. They're doing some huge there. The contractor is Gabriel Kuto. Okay. He's doing amazing works. But once we applaud them for that, we say that they should look at the other important roads that needs to be repaired as well.
Very important.
Anyway, let's get to the Daily Guide news. Let's start with the Daily Guide newspaper. Right. Okay, you start.
Okay, so the Finder has the biggest story. Bawumia trumpet sacrifices, records and plans to reward the grassroots when elected. Tomorrow is the Super Delegates Congress. Yeah. The election headquarters will be there to bring you the...
we are starting today.
The eve of...
The AM show is going to focus more on that one. We're speaking to Kojo Poko and a lot of stakeholders. Yes, in it. And again, this evening, between 8 and 10 p.m., Evans Mensah and Winston Amwa will be here to have the special
analysis on it. So Bawumia is saying that he has sacrificed for the country as well as the party. He has never wavered his responsibility in good and bad times. He defended the party. We know that he actually shot into fame in 2012 during the election petition hearing. He's one politician who has introduced data politics into the geopolitics in Ghana. Before then, we know that it was dwelling on personality, who the person is, where the person is coming from. But it's like he brought a different dimension to the politics of data. He believes in science and data on the grounds, and that is what he's known for. We know that his father has also contributed to the MPP. His father, Mumuni Bawumia, was one of the key leaders of the the Northern People's Party.
Okay.
That also gave birth to the MPP tradition of the Dankwa Buzia Dombo.
Okay.
So his father and SD Dombo were the key architects in the north, though he served in other governments and all that. So he thinks that all these sacrifices, not from himself but from his family to the MPP, it's time for him to be given the opportunity, because he's not, a neophyte in politics. He has been in the MPP for over 20 years. So those who think that he is not someone, he's someone who is just new to the party, he has struggled for the party from the onset, and he would reward the grassroots if elected. So we'll see how the election goes tomorrow.
Let me tie that in with what the delegate is also saying about him.
Okay.
It says MPP Superdelegate Confab Ashanti Constituency Chairman, Route 4, Bawumia. Delegate barred from displaying cast ballots.
I think it's part of the
we'll get into
protocols. It's part of the protocols that they actually issued yesterday, that you are not supposed to show picture. We know that it's criminal in our laws for you to show your ballot after casting. So the party is just restricting on that and asking them to go by or conform to the electoral laws. If not, you can be punished. Still on politics and the MPP Superdelegates Congress, show me love on Saturday, Dr. Akoto to delegates. You know, his father was also one of the key leaders in the MPP. Honorable Bafo Say Akoto.
I think they called him more of Chami.
I see. So he wants to leave his father's legacy. He's also trumpeting on his own competence as an agric minister, what he's able to do. Now, his team has been talking about the fact that Ghana does not need to go to IMF for bailout if we had concentrated on industrial revolution. With those in the agric sector, we would definitely argue that the agric sector is the main drive behind the development of the country. So he wants to
if we are able to develop it well,
he wants to re-engineer
the potential to solve a lot of our problems.
Exactly. So he wants to re-engineer the agric sector to use that to propel the development of the country. So these are some of the issues coming in from the NPP Superdelegates Congress. Iyoko recovers 138.9 million Ghana cedis in 18 months. It comes with a picture of COP Mamiti Wado Dankwa. I think she has been phenomenal since she came to Iyoko and has also contributed her quota. And we've seen the recoveries that they have made captured in the finder here, 138.9 million. I think if other institutions were doing the same, we would not be going to IMF or would not be thinking of support from other institutions and all that. In the NDC front, Dr. Mane Bawumia is NDC's Director of Elections and IT. You know, they've made some reshuffling in the NPP, NDC, sorry. He goes for that.
So let's give the full detail. Now, Vice Chairman who have been appointed to the Executive Committee. For the Vice Chairman, we have Professor Joshua Alabi, Dr. Samuel Sapon, and Abdul Rauf Khalid. National Treasurer is Alex Shreme. Deputy Treasurer Thomas A.C. Kuma. For NEC appointment, we have Molly Enim Ado, Margaret Ansay, that's Margo. George Kwesi Bimbi, Godfred Apisana Wombei Yellow. Alhaji Yaya Kundo, Ransford Chatman Vani Amwa. Now, the party leadership at the same meeting also gave approval for the creation of new directorate to be established to enhance the party's administrative efficiency. They have now the Directorate for Conflict Resolution, Directorate for Logistics and Protocol, Directorate for Inter-Party CSO Relations, and Directorate for Welfare. Now, they've also appointed Emmanuel Zumakbe as Director of Administration. Director of International Relations is now Alex Segbefia. Deputies Carl Ahin, Mami Ifwa Sechi Ado. Director of Communications is now Kakra Isamwa. And I wonder how that would, Sami Jemfi and this one, how would they... So
Sami Jemfi's position is elected. The other communications, that one is appointed.
Yes. So how? Because this one also has a deputy, Obobia Dakun Opoku. So how will they go about it? But I'm sure the party understands. Now, Director of Elections and IT is Edward Omane Bawumia. Deputies for Elections, Madi Jibril and Dr. Rashid Tanko, Computer. Deputies for IT, we have Dr. George Atabwating and Wisdom Yaira Deku. Director of Legal is now Godwin Kujo Tamaklo. Deputies, we have Baba Jamal and George Lowe. Director of Research is Professor Francis Dodu. Deputies Prosper Hoitu and Professor John Bright Aheto. Director of Special Duties, Vincent Kwagbenu, Deputy Caesar Kale, Broja Jemfi, Mohammed Atta Natongma. Director of Conflict Resolution is Abraham Amaliba, Deputy is Daniel Amate, Director of Interparty and CSO Relations, Dr. Peter Boama Otukono, the Deputy is Mary Ewusi, Director of Welfare, Vida Adai, Deputy is William Atamuji, and Director of Logistics and Protocol, Ludwig Roger. Deputies Mohammed Kweku Doku and Amanda Ochre, and this is signed by Fifi Fiave Kwete.
Okay, yeah. That's good to hear. I think it's part of the reorganization process towards the 2024 general election. So there are other stories captured in the Finder. If you go to page 6, leak tape on IGP committee's first day surface jolts. We know that the former Northern Regional Chairman, Daniel Bugrinabo, was supposed to appear before the committee, but we were told that he was indisposed, and then he was not able to appear before the committee. So they are still on it. But this is the first meeting that the committee has started on the issue. So we'll see how it pans out there. And minority reaches consensus with police to embark on demonstration. We know that has been received. There's a hit back there, because we know the police said that because of security reasons, the routes that they want to use, they cannot. Or they have to come back for them to have a discussion around it.
But once the paper is reported, I'm sure then they have had some resolution of a sort, isn't it?
So it's still reporting from the Wednesday meeting, in which I was there myself. But we know that the police still wants them to have a conversation around it, because they are raising security concerns and all the reason they don't want them to use those routes. So they have alternative routes, but the minority is already hesitant. They said that they will not listen to them. They'll still go ahead, because they think that it is an attempt to just prevent them from protesting, because the arguments.
If they say they will go ahead, that means they won't get police protection.
When I spoke to Mahama Yarga, his point was that yes, they agreed earlier. So if you agreed at the meeting that this is a route that we use, and you say you provide us protection, why would you want to give us a last minute? And I think he even predicted it.
So the police agreed.
Yeah, per what the minority told us, that at the meeting with the Greater Accra Regional Police Command, they agreed with the routes that they proposed.
Okay.
So the route that they proposed was it was a consensus. So they came and communicated that to us, and then later in the day, the police issued a statement that after that meeting with the minority, they conducted their own assessment and noted that the routes that they have proposed would be, because of security reasons, they cannot allow them to do. So it should come back for them to have conversations on the alternative routes that they want to they want to give to them. But Mahama Yarka earlier spoke about the fact that people go to Flagstaff House or Jubilee House to petition. So why is it the case that Bank of Ghana or frontage of Parliament through the streets of Osu Cemetery, Makola, Kimbo, and all those? But these are the concerns coming up. We don't know what the resolution will be, but we should be expecting a meeting between the police and the minority again before the demonstration or the protest, which comes off on the 5th of September. We know that other interested groups are also part. Bernard Mona and his Arise Ghana. We have ASEPA, then they say tractor drivers, driver unions, and the ordinary Ghanaians are going to be part. So let's see how it passes.
Let's see how it goes. Now let's do the daily guide now. And the banner story is MPP delegate Confab, Ashanti Region Chairman, route for Bawumia. Delegate barred from displaying cast ballot. Maslow closes Boko office over safety. Baby rescued from Achimota Forest. And celebrate Addison for saving economy. That's according to former Central Regional.
On the Boko issue. This was the first time that
Kwame Duncan.
This was the first time a public institution has closed its office there, and the issues are security related. We know that last year, SNIT had to evacuate their staff there. It had to do with security related because of the situation at hand now. So we should understand that if there is instability, these are the consequences that we are going to face. Meaning, those who want to roll into Maslock will now have to go to Boga all the way from Boku. And Boku is one of the areas that they produce onion for the country. So farmers who want money and all these things to cushion up their businesses, imagine.
But how do we deal with the conflict there?
Those who are there, we know that the situation, it is not beyond repair. It's a matter of time, but sometimes the politicking too doesn't help. And we only hope that our generation will be able to change it. Because we know that it didn't start today. It has been there, and something that has to do with chieftaincy and all that. You know how people attach emotions to chieftaincy and all that. So I only hope that the Peace Council, those who matter, and then the youth leaders, they should see that, look, we have a future here. We can convince our parents. Let's see how we can solve this issue once and for all. Let's not take entrenched positions. Let's rule out our emotions and see how this issue can be solved once and for all. I can tell you that if the situation wasn't as it is in Boko, that would have been one of the biggest, trading hubs in the country.
Okay.
And we know the revenue that the GRA draws from that area. I had, some confidential conversations with one of the GRA bosses, and then he was lamenting about the fact that they are losing revenue and then all that.
How can we get the people of Boko to see this, to see that there's a possibility of them prospering, if this war or this conflict is ended, how can we get them to understand it from that point of view?
I think efforts have been made. We hope that the efforts would yield results. I know the National Peace Council and all those who matter, traditional authorities, have been speaking around it. It's not an issue that on daily basis they don't talk about. Yeah, so like I said, it's a matter of time, and we expect that, the issues will be resolved to save these consequences that people are facing already. If you look at the security implication as well, we spend more on security. The Municipal Security Council spends more on security, keeping the military, the police, all those people there. It's very expensive. And that is why we as a people there should understand that these monies that we are using for security payments and arrangements could have been used to develop the area. It's already a developing area. It has the potential to blossom and contribute. And it has already been contributing. Like I mentioned about the onion. The people there are hardworking. They produce most of the staples that we eat in the country. So it's a matter of mindset, conscientization, and we have to conscientize the people to understand that we should not give up. We should not give up.
Okay.
At least politics should be eschewed from it, and then we can have a lasting solution.
Okay. All right. Let's see how that goes. Now, on page 6 of the paper, it says, 2 Nigerian businessmen, Kingsley Indefo and Emmanuel Akon, have been remanded in police custody in Tema for allegedly trafficking 11 people from Nigeria to Ghana under the pretense of providing them with good jobs. Indefo has pleaded guilty to human trafficking. Oh, so he has pleaded. Yeah. While Akon has pleaded not guilty to all 3 charges brought against him. The 2 are to make their next appearance in court on September 7, 2023. According to Constable Belinda Koku, who represented the prosecution in court, the victims were recruited from various Nigerian states and brought to Ghana, where they were coerced into cyber-related crimes. The victims, who ranged in age from 20 to 34, suffered malnutrition, unhealthy conditions, and cutlass wounds on their bodies. During the raid on the accused home, the police retrieved 13 laptops and an iPad, which will be taken to the police cybercrime unit for examination. Constable Koku emphasized the importance of expediting the trial, given that the accused were Nigerians without a fixed place of abode in Ghana. She also noted that those who refused to comply with the accused orders to commit cybercrime were attacked with machetes and electric wires. Why? That's inhumane, huh?
This issue about cross-border crimes coming all the way from Nigeria to Ghana, and that's why the rent control, those who matter, should look at it critically. You have houses in Accra, not only in Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, dotted across the country. They have foreigners coming to rent. You don't know the job they are doing. There are more than 10 in one room. You don't bother to ask. All what you bother or what you think about is the cash that they give you. You don't think, and they are the people, this is one of the reasons, accommodation is very expensive in Accra and other parts of the country. So we should try to interrogate some of these issues, be our own security, try to question them, what the people are here for, get their details before you admit them into your homes, and it will cross
but
national security.
Getting details before you admit them, is it going to work? But I have my home, someone comes say, I want to rent it. I want to get details.
But you need a permit. As a foreigner, you are renting, you need to get those permits. How many to get those details and all that. Yeah.
How many landlords, know about this and are even willing to ask for?
So that's why I said where my problem is. Rent control will have to ensure that they educate the public. Ensure that you bring the landlords, tell them the punitive actions that can be taken against them if they defy them. But everyone is doing what he or she likes in the country. I'm coming to rent a room, they will just ask you, oh, free here. I say, oh, I'm from Boga, I'm from Wa, I'm from Keta, then they will say, okay, no problem.
I'm from Guzia or
so bring 2,000 cedis a month. Then you just collect the person's money. Oh, I'm charging you two years. And that ends it. You don't even do background checks about the person and all that. So some of these things, we should start from the homes. Give the information to the police, then they can crack down on that. We shouldn't wait for the police to do the investigations. If we don't give information, the police cannot get the leads.
Okay, there's one positive story here. 2-week-old female baby abandoned at the Achimota Forest in the Greater Accra region has been rescued. Wow. The baby, found wrapped in a polythene bag covering the head and neck, was rescued by a 4-member crew of the emergency medical technicians from the National Ambulance Service. The crew was on its way from an emergency at the West Municipal Hospital when they met the incident. According to eyewitness Alex Gather, a pastor who went to the Achimota Forest to pray came across the wrapped baby in the forest. Wow. So kudos to the EMT guys for saving the baby. Some people need some more. Others to have gotten the baby and are not interested in it. Well, interesting. How those words. Okay.
All right, so the last paper with me is the Meridian. And then there's one interesting story captured in page 10. Miscreants later Sakumono TMA school with fecal matter as tea strike. Parents are raising concerns about it. It comes to the picture of the school. The school doesn't have, apparently they don't have windows and doors to lock it properly. So when the school children close, these miscreants reportedly storm the schools or go to the school and then do their own. To the next day, they have to clean before they sit. And I mean, I can imagine how the children are able to. And this is a crowd. I'm wondering how people are able to, or these people will be able to study under this condition. It's actually a big challenge.
That's why, and this is where Sakumono.
Yeah, Sakumono.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But that's
so that's the TMA primary and junior high school at Sakumono in the Tema West municipality.
Yes. I've been there. I've been to this school before. You know, sometimes I say that for those of us in the community are also part of the problems. Yeah. Because why do you go and do this to a school where children go to study? And they could be your younger brothers and sisters. Yeah. They could even be your children.
Joy News actually carried this story, and then it has been reproduced by the Meridian newspaper. And I think the authorities the Tema West Municipal Assembly authorities should move in swiftly. Because I'm told that some laptops have also been stolen from it. Other value, we have the libraries, these basic schools, and also these laptops have been stolen, computers belonging to the school. They chiseled through the roof into the room where they were kept and bolted with the equipment. It's actually a disastrous situation on the ground.
All right. Now let's finish with the Chronicle newspaper. It says, Akoto to delegate, show me love, show me your love, you know.
Who
make the 5 more? UK rating agency puts Bawumia ahead, Alan Akoto, a Japan's follow in tow. And Baptist church members holding positions are not corrupt, according to GBC president. So if you're a Baptist church member, maybe this will be of interest to you. Automation of supply, distribution of premix for already. I interviewed I think the administrator of the National Premix Secretariat, and he explained the importance of this. That automation, now they can sit in Accra, and follow the premix flow from Accra to the landing beach, wherever the landing beach is. And they are limiting human interference, so that this is also by way of digitalization, so that they can follow every ounce or every liter of premix that leaves the center. And this is what they want to use.
What is the current state of the premix fuel? Are they getting it?
Last time I spoke to him, he said they are getting it. But it depends on the LBCs, that's the landing beach committees. That if you run out, you have to make order to the secretariat.
So I think this automation is in response to the reported smuggling of the premix.
Exactly, that's it. So they want to end smuggling. Okay. Because with this automation, there will be little human interference. And even when the truck is moving the premix for, because they are able to follow the truck by just watching the interface on their computer, they're able to know that the truck left Accra at 2 a.m. and it's probably at 8 a.m. it's at Keta or you know. So that's the importance of this premise automation that they want to do. I'm told they will be launched somewhere this month by the Vice President. So let's see how it goes. But the big thing is on tomorrow, who makes the last 5 of the MPP's 10 flag bearer aspirants.
So we have about 961 delegates who are going to cast their ballots. And I'll show you in the course of the discussion during the breakdown.
We'll give all those.
So the regional reps, we have 29. Founding members are 30, regional executives 272, constituency chairmen are 275, members of parliament are 137, regional ministers 14, and this constitutes a total of 961 that are expected to cast their ballots to trim down the number from 10 to 5 ahead of the main Congress in November.
Now, the executive president of Ghana Baptist Convention, GBC, Reverend Dr. Nina Thompson, has vouched for members of the church working in both public and private sectors of the national economy, saying they are not corrupt and do not also embezzle funds entrusted into their care by their employers.
I see.
Wow, it means that this man
Baptist
knows.
members, you are doing well.
You are doing very well. If this is true, then Baptist members.
But I think everyone should declare his or her religious belonging when you are getting.
So that we can tell.
So if you are, which church are you coming from, so that we know, we'll be able to track that.
Yeah, okay.
So if the Baptist church can come out to vouch for members, I think it's a good lesson for everyone out there. Protect your integrity. If you are given the opportunity to handle a public office or private,
do your best for
Ghana. Your best.
Okay, Samuel, bro.
My brother, all the best
for today. Yeah.
Sure.
All right then. So that's how we wrap up the news review. Up next, it's sports, and today is Prime Take with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Stay with us.